want to introduce Mary Helen and Shannon. We've been neighbors and friends through different, school acquaintances at Randolph Macon stuff. So they're local, right down the road, and they've been doing therapeutic riding longer than we've been doing it. And they just have a lot of different angles and different ways that they do stuff, and a lot of resources and collaborations with organizations that people know nothing about, like including me. So they have a lot to share, and different things that you guys can plug into that is going to be lots of valuable information. So we welcome and thank you guys for coming, and I don't want to miss the peanut butter and jelly thing.
That's right. I'm not sure if she turned the walkie-talkie on. I'm not sure if she. Can you check to see?
Oh, turn this. Okay.
Yeah, or the microphone rather.
I think it's on. Yep.
Oh. Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah,
Fabulous.
so it's like
okay.
it records, I think.
Awesome.
It doesn't broadcast. Okay. I'm ready.
I'm just going to start saying thanks for letting us come and talk to you guys. And if any of you were in the diversity talk this morning, I'm definitely the S person, and she's my O person, and that's what balances us, and that's why she's going to be talking most of the time today. But just before we get started, can you guys tell us kind of where you're from and where you are as far as your ministry or your organization that you are in? And how far you came.
We'll just start at the front. I see you're aboard.
I'm Greg and Abby Bozard. We're from deep South Texas, and we represent a ranch called Valley Trotters Youth Ranch.
Thank you. Welcome to Virginia.
I'm Emily, and I'm actually from South Africa, but I'm doing an internship with Welcome Water.
Wonderful. Welcome.
I'm Joe, this is my wife Sharon, and we volunteer here at Windsor.
Wonderful. Well, we're neighbors. Welcome, neighbor.
Starla, I just got hired like a week ago at the ranch I own at, which is Promise Ranch up in PA. So I'm still learning the ropes.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
Excellent.
yeah.
My name is Shannon Lawson. I'm with Wind and Sparrow. We're here in Mechanicsville, Virginia. We just got our 501, so we're in the beginning.
Nice. Well, best of luck.
I think we forgot
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Well, welcome.
I'm Andy Mash, and I'm with Wings of Hope.
Wonderful.
Piper, Scott, Deb Keenan. We're here with Valley Trotters.
Thank you.
I just came out to volunteer to clean up, and they said I could sit in a couple sessions, so I'm here to learn what's going on in the area.
Thank you.
I'm Leah Ward. I'm a volunteer at Montpelier. I'm also at OTAC, and I'm interested in using horse studies as a therapeutic means.
Wonderful.
I'm Debbie Ward, and I am a volunteer and the bookkeeper and the program director at Wings of Hope.
So you wear many hats. That's awesome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sophia Koch, and I did volunteer a lot of therapeutic riding in Germany, as you can hear by my accent.
Yes.
From Germany, and I just did 1 year of volunteering at the therapeutic riding lessons in London, and I just started. God gave me a new job as a riding instructor for beginners, so
What part of Germany?
So I was born in Kiel, in the north of Germany, at the Baltic Sea, but I grew up in Heidelberg.
Okay.
Close to Frankfurt.
I worked in Bad Korschnick, Germany for the Army years ago as an internship through college. It was amazing. So thank you. You get the, I don't know who's further. I would say.
Australia too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
And I have a complete love for Icelandic horses.
Oh.
One day I would love to combine Icelandic horses with kids and teens who can't afford riding lessons and to have several programs like therapeutic riding lessons maybe and equine assistance and just to combine.
So we had a volunteer for years who had the Icelandic just for her own personal as hobby that she did trail riding with. So she loved the breed. So that's neat that you mentioned that. Thank you. I think over here.
Sure. Kimberly Tomlin. I'm actually from University of Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
And I do research with the equine assisted community to look at asset-based resilience in multiple populations.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hi.
I'm Judy Hartman. I'm a Thursday morning feeder here and miscellaneous volunteer for Odd Jobs.
I'm Sandy Brown. I'm from Promise Ranch, which is in central PA, and we just hired started.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for coming out. So like Shannon said, we've been doing this for years. We started our program. Actually, we had the dream of doing it when we were 12 years old. We used to ride together, hunter, jumper, pleasure, that sort of thing, 4-H. And we said, well, how can we give back to the community? So we were 12 years old, and we said, we knew we weren't going to the Olympics, so we checked that off the mark. And we said, we're going to start a therapeutic riding program. So I went to Longwood University in Farmville, and Shannon is a COTA. So we used those two things together. My first degree was therapeutic recreation, and Shannon is a COTA, occupational therapy assistant. And so we brought those two education paths together, and we started this program. So here's sorry, I'm kind of in the way. Here's the agenda, just very briefly. So just like I mentioned, Shannon and I started this program when we were 12, and it's a way to give back to the community. And like I mentioned, I'm a certified PATH International instructor. I am an RN. I went back to school and became an RN. And Shannon, like I mentioned, is an occupational therapy assistant and a certified PATH International instructor. And she is the director of the program, the Galloping Acres, right here in Montpelier. But we ride, if anyone ever is familiar with the Glen Allen area, it's just about 10 minutes away, and that's where we ride at. And she also has been a 4-H leader, Shannon, 4-H leader for years in the community. So these are just a little bit of a brief background, and I'll go to that when we talk about the body of our lesson, about the clients that we see. So we see all types of children with disabilities varying from Down syndrome, autism. We have a lot of, some of our children have a lot of genetic disorders that are very, very rare. And so of course with any program that you're going to run, especially therapeutic riding, we have to get the doctor involved. And we get the doctor involved with medical forms because there are some situations where it's contraindicated that it would not be beneficial for the child to ride. For instance, if a child had a rod in their back, that would be contraindicated because if they were, God forbid, if they were to fall, that could produce more, it would be more harm than good for them to ride with us. And the other thing that we also have to consider too, one, are volunteers. Without our volunteers, we would not be able to have a program. And so they do so many things. It's just like you were the Thursday feeder. Without you, the horses wouldn't get fed. So it's so important to really be aware and cognizant of the volunteers. So the one thing that we do is we work with the doctors. We're aware of the weight. The weight of the rider plays an effect on how many, it plays an effect how long they can participate in our program. So it's unfortunate when we have to tell someone that they're not able to participate, but it's for the safety of the horse as well as the safety of the volunteer. So our mission, our mission is to work with individuals with physical, cognitive, emotional concerns or challenges, and to help them let this be a fun opportunity for them. A lot of the folks that we work with, this is their thing, but also on the flip side, allows the parent to have an hour of a little bit of a respite, and that's so very crucial. So we try to let the parent just sit there. Some parents want to participate in the program and help right there with their child. We actually encourage them to take that break because it's so important for them just to see their child execute in this program without the parent being right there, and it gives the parent a little bit of a break as well. So the history of therapeutic riding, it actually started with this lady right here. Liz is her name. She was a dressage rider, and then she actually contracted polio. So she went into Paralympic dressage. And so that's, she witnessed personally the benefits that therapeutic riding did, and also being able to ride the horse around without using crutches or someone to assist her. So that was very beneficial for her. So obviously that was years ago. And we think the benefit is, yes, the child is working on fine motor, gross motor. It's so empowering for them for their self-esteem. But we do have children who utilize wheelchairs. They're able to leave that wheelchair rather at the ramp, and you'll see our ramp in a little bit. But you can see that we're having this young rider work fine motor, but he has no idea. So if you go to a PT or OT, you're working for a solid hour with that therapist. Here, our therapist is a four-legged animal. And so they're like, oh, it's fun, and so we're going to play games and incorporate fine motor, gross motor, where they don't realize how much they're working because it's fun. So, and I just this slide is just mentioning that you're working the fine motor, gross motor. Therapeutic riding is the only exercise that mimics the human walk. So just sitting on the horse, you're utilizing the same muscles that it would take for you to walk throughout the day. And so for someone who's not able to walk because they utilize a wheelchair, if you put them on, you're working core, and it's so beneficial. And again, they don't realize how, quote, hard it is because it's fun. And like I said, our riders are having fun. You can see this young person right here. So we incorporate different types of games throughout the program, and the lesson rather. And so Shannon and I both teach together, which is kind of, it's a great thing because typically in therapeutic riding there's one instructor. Well, there's actually two. And honestly, there's actually 3 certified instructors when we do teach. So we have many hands to help. And so mounting is, of course, we have to make sure that everyone is safe. And I'm not sure if they went through it, but when you get a child on the pony or the horse, you want to put someone in the front, and then you have the off-side leader or sidewalker rather, and then the sidewalker over here. And we utilize the ramp when it's appropriate, but we also have we utilize the mounting block when it's appropriate, and then we have a ramp for children who are not able to walk into the ring. And then we have a warm-up exercise, and it is the same exercises every week. And that's so they learn that consistency, so they're able to know that we're going to work shoulders, and then we're going to swing our legs back and forth. But all of those, they all help with progression throughout the lesson. So swinging your leg is going to help get you off the horse. And we do not utilize the ramp to get off the pony because you want to let that gravity work to get the rider off, because it actually is not safe to utilize the ramp when you're getting off. So then we review what we did the week prior, and then we work on trotting in both directions or a sitting trot, and then we have some type of game to incorporate something fun, and then we do get off the pony. We typically talk about parts of the horse or brushing before we dismount the horses. All right, so just a brief history. So Path International, it was actually started in Middleburg, Virginia, and up in Northern Virginia, and now the home is now in Colorado. So like I mentioned before, Shannon and I both are certified instructors, and what that means is that we have to do continuing education every 2 years, and there's a huge test. Well, I don't know about the huge part, but there is a test, and so you do have to pass the test to become certified. And I think that that's great to show, one, the community and the parents that we are continuing in our education every year to better serve their child, but also learning in any facet is so beneficial. And so TRAV is the organization just for Virginia, and that's the Therapeutic Riding Association of Virginia, and Shannon's actually the president this year. So with that program, they also offer continuing education, and it's welcome for anybody. You don't have to just be in Virginia, but there are different regions through the PATH organization. So TRAV Homes that's Region 3, and so we have a Region 3 conference, and so it's all various barns and different therapeutic riding programs that come to those conferences, and to learn various ways of how we can better serve the others.
In order to be part of TRAV, you also have to be a member of PATH.
I don't believe so.
No. You can be, in order to be a PATH center or a TRAV center, you have to be a PATH center. But anybody can be an individual TRAV member.
Second question. Do you also, for PATH, do you also conduct the instruction, like the courses to get certified at your location? Are you as part of being premier or not?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
So for the certification portion for the CTRI?
Yes, so we actually went to North Carolina to get certified. Is that your question?
So you're not as far as being able to conduct that at your facility?
So no, and not
the
all.
mentorship, is that what you're referring to? As to the certification, getting the required
where to take the test and where to also do?
So the initial certification is, they have different locations throughout the USA. So we chose the closest one to our facility, so it was North Carolina. But that's to start the process, and then once you become certified, every 2 years you have 20 hours of continuing education that you have to do. And then we have other instructors that will come to our center, so they can get those. There's now required to
The hours that are required and needed.
To-
like
yeah.
25 hours of pre-teaching. before.
So we'll do that
I was
for
just asking, 'cause I
yeah.
was looking at the website where they had how many hours you had to have, and it was something that you would have to go to a premier site before you could receive that. But if what you're saying is you don't, like say if I were to come to you to get those hours.
Yes, we have had mentors come to our facility. We just don't house the initial, yes. So we chose to go to North Carolina and Pinehurst, North Carolina to get our certification, gosh, 25 years ago. So yes. And the other great thing that TRAV does, oh, I'm sorry, that's off-centered a little bit, but they have an annual horse show, and it's at the Lexington Horse Center in Lexington, Virginia. And so this is all of the participants from various programs throughout Virginia and North Carolina, because it's that Region 3. They'll come, and it's a huge horse show. It's a lot of work to get our riders there, but we braid our horses and make them look amazing. So this is one of our riders here, and this was Whitley, and she rode with us before her little feet could touch over the saddle, and she's amazing. So yes, and then they also offer educational days the day before the horse show or various weekends throughout the year at the horse center or where they're able to house a program. And so this, the picture up here on the right is an educational day that TRAV offered, and that's a way their members can get the CEUs, just like here. Okay, so I need 2 volunteers to help me. No, don't everyone jump all at once, but I just need 2 volunteers. Okay, and 1 more. I'll take you. Perfect.
Come on up.
So, so you're gonna help me do an activity, and
Where you want us back there?
sure, yeah, I'll have one person stand here and one person's here.
All right. Middle.
Okay, perfect. So y'all are gonna help me. So my
Is that crunchy?
oh wait, I don't know. That isn't.
It's on sale.
Gosh, I know. Yeah, right. Shannon, we needed the crunchy, but it's fine. It'll work in a pinch. But so I just want y'all to help me make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay.
So y'all are you can only give me 1 command.
Okay.
Okay, and he can try to fix your commands, but I can only do what you tell me. Okay, so we're just going to start by
So she can fix my command,
only once.
but only once.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so, and I'll tell you the reason we do this exercise in just a second. So, all right, I can't wait for this peanut butter and jelly. It's going to be amazing. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. And it's one step
One step.
Yep, one command communication.
Okay. Remove the twisty off the end of the bag.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. Grab.
That's it?
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I see how this is going.
Yep, it's going great.
It's going.
Yeah, it's going. But I am so hungry. I have not had lunch, so we need to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay. It's tricky, isn't it?
It is.
So there is a reason for this exercise, and I'll get
Yes.
through that. But I absolutely love this exercise. Go ahead. And I'm really hungry.
One step. Lay the bread back on the table.
Okay.
Okay. Reach in the bag.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to kind of stop right there. So the reason I want you to see how beneficial this exercise is, and it's kind of frustrating, and it's kind of like, wow, it's so enlightening. So a lot of the folks that we work with have various challenges or abilities. And so we work with a lot of folks that take things very, very literally. And so if you're riding on a horse and you say, stand up, and what we mean is maybe a 2-point. And so we want them to rise up in their seat, but when you say stand up, they're gonna you say grab the bag. So they're like, oh, grab the bag. So they're thinking, oh, she just said stand up. What does that mean? So that's why I do this exercise. It's not to put y'all on the spot, but thank you so much. But yeah, it is. It's really, yes, it's a way to see how you need to gear your communication to one-step communication. Because if you start talking with some of the bear folks that we work with, if you start talking with a lot of extra words, if you say, okay, we're gonna get on the horse and we're gonna do this and this and this, they've lost you. And the less talking that you can do is actually more beneficial, and that's probably for everybody in the world, but we tend to talk a lot. But so especially with the folks that we work with, if you say, okay, we're going to do one step, and then once we accomplish that, we can move on to the next thing. And of course, it all needs to be positive, especially with the folks that we're working with. So that's why I wanted to show you all that. So thank you. Thank you. And we will be fixing peanut butter and jellies just in a little bit. But yes, yeah, with the back half. But I wanted to show y'all as well some of the therapeutic riding, just the adaptive equipment that we use. So with therapeutic riding, of course, you're kind of thinking outside of the box. How can we better serve the riders that we work with in any way? And you'll probably learn if you are a certified instructor, if someone is really tight, you need to think about the type of horse that you put the rider on. So think about it. If you're really tight, do you want a lazy horse? Or do you want a horse that's going to kind of work out those muscles? So you have to think about that, of course, before the actual lesson, so they can benefit. Or if someone is super tight, do you want to put them on a Belgium horse that's super wide? Probably not, because it's really stretching those inner thigh muscles initially. Or do you take the saddle off so the horse is warm, and that will warm them up? So there are all the things that Shannon and I do before a lesson to try to figure out how can we better serve these children that we work with. And I don't think I mentioned, but we typically work with children. And that's because we but we have more ponies than horses. But it also goes back to that volunteer piece. We typically don't have 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" volunteers that can safely keep a child secure. And of course, with our program and any therapeutic riding program, or any program for that matter, it's all about the safety of the rider and our volunteers and the horse as well. So, but I just wanted to show you some of the adaptive reins that we use. So it has little grippies, as you can tell, but that's so they can hold better. But also you can tell Johnny, can you hold the pink or the red or the blue? And so they have something to identify. And if that's too small for them, we have cut tennis balls and slid them down. Of course, they make special ones, but as you're probably aware, if you just say horse, it's automatically more expensive. So we would cut tennis balls and slide them down so they would have something to hold on to. Or take a PVC pipe if they're only able to use one hand because they've had a stroke. We'll take that PVC pipe and put it here, and so they can hold it like this. And in regards to for children that the saddle is not working initially, we'll take the saddle off. And we do that quite often. It's all about the way the pelvis is placed on the horse. So even for some of our riders that will prone backwards, we'll lower their stirrups a little bit, further down. If you have a jockey stirrup length, you're going to give them more ability to go forward because that's something they can push off of. So if you lower those stirrups and then you tilt their pelvis back, they're typically not going to lean forward. Another activity that we do when they're trotting, if for anyone, if your posture's bad, put your arm up. Your posture is automatically fixed. So when we have children trot, we'll say, wave to your parents, wave like this. And so they don't know that they're waving. Yes, they are waving to their parents, but they don't know the reason I'm having that. Yes, it's nice to wave to people, but I want them to stand up like this So their posture, they're utilizing their core, they have no idea, and their posture is upright. So they're just all various little tricks to the trade that we do to make it fun, but also make it so we know that it's more of a functional activity for them. So here's the adaptive reins. We have a surcingle that we'll also use that they can hold on to and to make it easier for them. So let's see. And this is just, thank you for coming out to hear about, that went a little bit quicker than I anticipated, but do y'all have any questions for me? Yes?
Yeah, I have a question. So we had this one girl in the therapeutic riding lessons who had really problems she was always falling back with her back. So we put on like a vest, and that that the volunteers could help her to stay in the posture. So do you have anything else what could help with that? Because we are going on a trail ride, and we don't want that the child loses balance and falls back.
So we're all about safety. So there are therapeutic riding centers that actually utilize it. It almost looks as if you put this seat on the horse. So my biggest concern to that is if there were an emergency, because you're riding an animal, our horses are well trained, but they're animals. And so a squirrel could walk by and that could spook them. We just don't know that. So my biggest concern when you're putting more on the horse, oh yes. Yes, yes. So we've used this. It's a gait belt, and we just put it around their waist, of course, here, and then it can go on either.
With the gait belt, you just have to make sure they don't have a feeding tube.
Yeah.
Okay, that would
Right.
don't interfere with.
So, but yes, you were asking about putting something. So again, I mentioned about the saddle with having that tall back. I know you're not putting a saddle on like that. Just be very mindful of the more you're putting on.
No, I mean it was the child.
Yes. So I understand that I would just recommend a gait belt to something like this.
To put on the child?
Yes, this would go on the child, so they would sit on the horse like this. And just like if you were doing physical therapy in a hospital setting, and you had reduced mobility or your gait, or say you were toe-touch weight bearing, they would still put this on, and you would.
And the sidewalkers would hold on to it?
Yes. And so just Shannon was indicating the only thing that could be a contraindication, not good situation, if they had a peg tube, and it depends on where the peg tube is, you don't want that to rub up. And so typically I would put this like this in the back, if I can turn it around. So it's the harder part, obviously you're gonna sit up taller. That might hurt if you kind of crunch in on the belt part right here. Yes, so, but to kind of go on to, there's some therapeutic riding centers that will utilize Western saddles. And that's their choice, of course. The only thing to be very mindful is the horn. And in a situation, if you had to get that rider off in a jiffy, that horn, even for me when I rode Western, it presents some problems. So just be very mindful. It's just called a gait belt. You can probably get a gait belt. Mm-hmm. And you can just get it off of Amazon. I could give you the. I don't think there's not a label, but I can help you look at that later. Does anyone have? Yes.
Do you work with children with emotional disabilities versus physical?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of children who, a majority of our participants are children who have autism, but we have Down syndrome, we have CP, we have some very rare genetic disorders, but we also have a lot of folks who have ADHD and more coping or sensory. So for a child to get, if you have a sensory disorder, for a child to get on a horse, it's very stimulating. It's a lot going on. It's 2 sidewalkers, the leader, and then Shannon and I and another instructor in the ring, so it's a lot going on. So yes, we have, we typically will work with anyone. The only one we have to be cautious of are folks with Down syndrome. We have to make sure that they have a negative x-ray of their neck. If they were to fall, it could cause paralysis, just the way their body structure is. So of course, we want to make sure that that's not a concern. And that's why it's so crucial to get those doctors' orders or clearance, if you would, that they can participate in the program prior to.
So the number of special needs kids you've had in your care, how many times have you lost one that would not mount? Was it just not, even though you spent session after session just getting to the point where they'll get on the mounting block or on the ramp? We've had one student we've not been able to get onto the horse. And you don't force them, right? You don't,
oh, no. And that's, even if a horse, so I'm going to answer this two ways. Even for the horse, we have well-trained horses. They have a one strike, you're out. It's not like baseball, 3 strikes, you're out. It's 1 strike. So once, we will then work with them later in more of a typical riding lesson situation. But for our students or our participants, we've had multiple children. So I try to incorporate, if they're not wanting to get on the pony, then I try to incorporate, like, okay, can you help me carry a bucket of sand? And we'll just carry a bucket of sand back and forth.
Redirect.
And then we'll try it. And then, because that's really not fun to carry a bucket of sand around. And we've done that before. And we did that, this little guy and I, and the mom said, and dear friend of mine, right in our own community, she said, Mary Helen, I don't think this is working out. I said, please, just give me one more class. And he rode with us until he became too heavy for the program, as far as weight is concerned. So the weight has to be a total of 20% of the horse's weight. So you don't want to overdo that, because of course this is their therapy ball. So if we sour the pony, we're not able to help the next child. And it is, we've had 2 situations where we've had to turn people away, and it's really the safety of the horse, because it's an animal, and they're doing us a huge favor by working. So therapeutic riding is the most stressful activity for a horse, regardless of barrel racing, Olympic jumping, any other activity, because they know that they have a job. And it's really interesting because we taught a typical riding lesson, and this horse took this child around the ring like this, and the kids going like this, and then it was our turn for therapeutic riding. And it almost looked like we gave the horse some type of to calm down. And we did not do that. So it's just amazing. Animals are truly amazing. And they know the job that they have. It's just truly, it's a blessing. So, well, thank you again for your time. Do y'all have any questions? Any further questions for me? Anyone? Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.